What or who supports you in pursuing your purpose? Because rarely our sense of resolve, determination, our objectives, our intentions are very rarely a solo effort. Welcome to the Alchemy of Alignment. I'm Suzy Sanders, your ever curious host and the founder of Alchemy Virtual Assistants. And today I'm joined by an exceptional human being, someone who is passionate about people, about leadership, about human behaviour and performance. Kate Coulson runs an award-winning HR and training consultancy, and Kate is here with us today to talk about purpose. So Kate, welcome. Thank you for making the space to chat with us today.
Hi Suzy, thank you for having me.
Well, I've given a little bit of a teaser about your work, but for those that don't know, and I know you wear a lot of hats beyond just that of an entrepreneur, what's Ena HR all about?
Thank you. What is Ena HR all about? So we are at our core an outsourced HR training and recruitment firm. We're based in Northamptonshire. We support our clients in and around Northamptonshire and surrounding counties as their go-to people partner. From basic HR policies, making sure they're compliant with the ever-changing employment laws here in the UK, through to training and developing their teams, being the best business owners and leaders that they can be, balancing that constant juggle of doing the right thing morally with what they must do from a law perspective and everything in between, and always being commercial as we do it, but in a really human way. And I think when you're working with SMEs, it is about bringing the amazing frameworks that HR have in terms of performance management, development, how you get the best out of your people, but actually making them fit a smaller business and not losing their culture and their feel.
Oh, thank you, Kate. So, what or who supports you, Kate, with your pursuit of purpose?
It's such a great question. It's such a huge question. And I can't say just one thing. The reason I do what I do initially was because I wanted to use my experience in leading large teams and within the HR space to be able to not be in the corporate world and not be in the 9 to 5, because I have two beautiful yet complex human beings that I'm trying to drag up through life. And I wanted to balance being a mum, but having a fulfilling career. So that's where it all started. And then as I've gone on the journey of being a business owner, I've just got a scaffolding around me. And many people say, "Oh, Kate, well done. You've achieved so much." And I think, oh, I might be the face of my business and I'm the director down at Company's House, but it is so not just me. Annabelle and Zoe, my smallest humans, do it every day because I've learned when I've got a challenge, maybe not a technical HR issue, but if I'm struggling with the harmony or the balance, or I'm feeling a bit stressed, or I don't know how I'm going to fit something in, I give them the problem, and they quite often, in their very simplistic, honest way, will help me. I have a great crew of friends and family. My husband Lee is just my biggest advocate and my biggest support. But what I have grown along the way that I never expected to have was this incredible business community. From a local HR Indies group where we're on WhatsApp, where we can rely on each other for just a bit of a boost, but also that technical expertise. I mean, there must be hundreds of years of HR expertise on the end of my WhatsApp group chat. When you come across a complex issue that you just want to have that sounding board. I use a fabulous accountant, business coach. I mean, that list is endless. I really appreciate the networks that I have built and I have developed over time. So that network of other business owners in and around Northamptonshire who may have seen it and been there, or will happily just be an ear if you need them. Because I thought running my own business was going to be a lonely place. and it so isn't, because there's lots of other business owners out there, and if you help them, then they help you. And it might be that I don't need to have a certain expert available to me all the time, but I know I've got one in my toolkit if I need to, and I know I can help them. So who or what helps me? There's an army of people, Suzy, behind the scenes that are available.
Oh, okay, I love that. I really clung on to your use of the word scaffolding then, because um, you're 100% right. It can be a really hard, lonely place, right? When you're
Yeah,
starting and growing a business. And I love the importance and the recognition that you place on your network as well, because it's not just, a lot of people think, oh, let's go networking or build a network to get business, but it's so much deeper than that, isn't it? And
absolutely.
so many different pockets of people who support you. And I love the way that you bring your beautiful girls into your problem solving, because children have such a beautiful, you use the word simplistic there, don't they? They have such a different perspective, and sometimes it is really simple, isn't it? But we tie ourselves in knots with options and solutions and what ifs, and I love the way that you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. The one most recent situation that I threw at them was I was really struggling. So I'm very lucky I can be at home for them when they return from school. But that doesn't mean that my working day is over. And I was struggling with the distraction when they'd come home and them needing me, and my day was disrupted from sort of 3:15, 3:30, and then it meant that I was then working once they'd gone to bed at night, which wasn't good for my well-being. And I felt guilt, real guilt. I should be there. If they want me at 3:15, I should be able to say, yes, of course I can make you a snack, turn the TV on, whatever it is that they shouldn't really still need at their age. And so I gave them the challenge, and they took the guilt and they put a pin in it, because they just said, that's okay, mum. We'll let you know we're home. We'll set a timer on our Alexa for 5 o'clock. That's when you have to come in, and, that's family time. But up until then, we know you're still working. So obvious, so simple. And it worked. And it gave me that little bit of an extended day, but I'm still there, still with boundaries, and kind of the whole thing not merging into one.
How simple yet powerful, and they just put a pin in that guilt for you. That's incredible, because I know um, guilt's a big thing, particularly when you are a mother and you're running a business, or even just a parent. There are a lot of complex emotions and balances and juggles and sacrifices to make. So I love that approach. So we're agreed that business is not a solo venture, even if you are a solo entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely, it's not. And I think anyone who's starting out or is on their journey, wherever they are, if they think, actually, I am on my own, you need to go out and build that network. You've got your network at home, your family, your friends.
Mm.
Hopefully, I'm very lucky to have that. I know that. But there are some fabulous networks out there that, on the face of it, they're all there to grow your business. They are there to help you with business development, to get more clients on board. But they are so much more than that. They become your scaffolding, your friends, and you can help them and they help you. And it's a great business community in Northamptonshire.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I'm really curious as well, Kate, because I know a lot of your work is with leaders and developing leaders. And I know you have this sentiment that leaders are not born, they're developed. And I love that, because I've never considered myself a leader until very recently. I echo similar kind of story to you in the reason for starting my business. And as the business grew, evolved, I did too. And at one point, I kind of was like, oh, I've got a lead now. This is a thing that I need. This is another skill that I need to lead and develop. And I know that my experience isn't unique in that sense. There are a lot of smaller businesses who suddenly have that kind of accidental leadership. Would you agree? Is that quite common?
I think it's really common. And very often you see that people who are fantastic at running their business, they know their product, they know their industry, they are absolute experts, start to flounder when they then have a team to support them and they get into that rut of not being able to delegate and let go. They don't have the trust, that symbiotic trust with their team, and then they're really they start drowning, or their businesses evolve from being actually everybody they know, so their family friends are working for them, they've been there from the start. They're too big for that. They're bringing in people from the outside and they can't rely on those relationships that have been built over 10, 20, 30 years to sustain their business growth, and they have to step up and learn to be leaders, and learn those key skills that we've all had to learn to be able to lead. And with those skills then comes that confidence, and that confidence to say, yeah, I don't know it all, I get it wrong, I've got a gap in my knowledge there, but I can lead people and people follow me. And working in the SME community in Northamptonshire, it's really common as businesses grow that leaders don't have that confidence to be the great people that they could be.
Yeah, and it's such a tricky thing, isn't it? I mean, firstly, having the awareness, seeing it as a problem, but then having the courage to want to address it, and also having the time and the capability to be able to better yourself and grow in that way. Because, you mentioned a few key things there in kind of delegating, trusting, the leadership skills that are required at that level are very different to what's built the business. So it can be a really tricky thing. So it to anyone that's listening, going, oh yeah, no, that's guilty, that's me. What if there was one thing, and I know this is a tough question to pin it on one thing, but if there was one thing that they could do today to help themselves, what would your suggestion be, Kate?
You've got to start with self-awareness.
Mm.
You've got to start with understanding you and taking some space, maybe guided to do some self-reflection, and self-awareness of your key strengths. Where are your weaknesses? How do you bring energy into a room? What power do you have over your team? Is it power through the knowledge that you have? Are you a bit is it through your authority? What's your personal brand? What's your personal environment? Let's look in the mirror. And there's some really good tools and techniques and things you can use to do that. Get feedback. What do other people see? What do other people see about you that you don't see yourself? What's in your blind spot? So that, yeah, if you're going to start somewhere, that's the very first thing to do, is to have that self-awareness as to who you are.
Making time to pause and have a little look at yourself, reflect. And whilst we recognize that these kind of things can be quite difficult, I'm going to counter that, because actually these are things that people that have started and grown businesses are generally quite good at, right?
Yes. I think a lot of people start a business because they have a concept or a skill or a product. And actually, as you then develop in business, you then become a business owner. And you have to take that leap from being a technical expert to owning a business and leading a team. And that's a jump, that's a psychological shift.
Mm. What are some of the things that you found helpful? Because you've done these big mighty jumps yourself, Kate. So what are the things that you've found quite helpful in the past?
I think what's really important is to have that time to do that self-reflection and to learn and to grow, and just to sit in the space or the emotion and think, how did that feel? How well did I do it? Where should I go? Realizing that you do not have to be the expert at everything. we're not as humans. We've got some good, great, amazing qualities, but we're not all designed to do it all and to do it all to the best standards. So rely on the experts and be happy to um, take their help and expertise wherever it comes from. Um, the realization for me that I was a business owner and I needed to work on my business and not in my business really was, it was a feeling, and it was a psychological shift. And then being okay to run my own diary, not be accountable to anyone else, knowing that there was no knight in shining armor coming along to save me. It was me, and to sit in that space and be comfortable with it was a big shift.
Yeah. I love, you're right. Most of you know me. I'm very feelingsy. I'm very feelings based. But what I heard from you there, Kate, that it was a feeling, that realization that it was this huge kind of psychological mindset shift that you needed to undertake,
Yes,
and giving yourself the time to process that. And that's such a hard thing to do, isn't it, when you've got all of the different pockets of your business and your life and all of these demands on your time and all of these things that need doing and people that are expecting things from you, when you're trying to do all the things on your own, and then someone says, oh well, just make some time for this. It's like, it can feel like a real very unimportant priority, but actually what we're saying is it is the most important thing.
absolutely. And I haven't done that on my own. It's not
Mm.
necessarily a skill that I've gone, oh, let me just give myself some time to reflect here and know what path I should go down. I've had coaches that have helped me on my journey, and I've had different business and personal coaches available to me at different stages in my career. And that has been absolutely invaluable because they've asked the difficult questions,
Mm.
they've allowed the silence, and prevented me from just filling it. They've been on that journey, they've got to know me, they've brought so much to the party. Again, it's another piece of scaffolding
Mm.
that holds you up as an entrepreneur to move forward.
I really love that use of the word scaffolding there, because I can visualize it, and when you're starting your business, like you're building that scaffolding and strengthening it. I can't even say it, Kate. And that scaffolding is getting stronger, more robust, the more you're evolving and growing, and then it's able to support more and hold more. Because
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that the thing for me, when I first started the business over 3.5 years ago now, was I didn't have any money. I didn't have a pot of gold. I started from nothing. I was very fortunate to get a couple of small grants through local organisations, local council, that helped me take that first step to get some expert resource to help me. Then it was just slowly building the business up, taking my time. I didn't take any money out of the business for 6 months. And then as I've gone along, being very careful, well, where do I invest in that scaffolding? Where is it best use of my time not to do it, or I don't have that skill? And actually, where is it? It's my network. And where can I lean on others that can help me, knowing that I can also help them? And you sort of grow the scaffolding as you go along. I think it's very scary to start with. If you think, oh, I need a business, well, there's no marketing department and finance department and an SEO expert and business coach and life coach and personal coach and a housekeeper. None of that is there in day one because for me, there's no money for it. So you just prioritize differently, change, evolve, have different people with you along the way.
oh, thank you, Kate. And I think I'm probably going to challenge you a little bit here in thinking, what do you think are some of the under recognized qualities of a business owner? And I say under recognized because there are so many wonderful traits and attributes that fuel the entrepreneurial fires. But I'm wondering if there are some that you feel are perhaps not celebrated enough. Um, the things I heard in what you shared in that story there, Kate, the adaptability, the resilience, the ability to see the priorities or decide what's important, that decisiveness. But are there any kind of entrepreneurial traits you think aren't recognised enough?
I think there's two,
Ooh.
if I'm allowed to. I think my first one is that tenacity and resilience.
Mm.
And very early on in my journey as a business owner, I had a sense from a couple of different people in my world that it was, oh, it's lovely now, you run your own diary, you just work part-time, or you can take a day off whenever you like, and isn't that lovely? Almost a little bit of a virtual pat on my head. Oh, well done you, nice little cottage business here, well done, yeah, all lovely. I think you have absolutely no idea. I probably work more hours now than when I was, in my biggest big girl proper corporate job that I had. But it doesn't feel like that because I love it and it's for me and I do it around my family. And yes, I may have taken a Friday off to meet a friend in a spa. And yes, that was joyful, but it's me that's afforded the money to do it. And it's me that's pulled extra hours to make that happen. And it's me that sits on my laptop while my girls are at drama lessons in a well-known coffee shop, working away virtually every Saturday morning because that's when I have the time and space. And I think that sort of dogmatic approach to work ethic is just huge. And any business owner will know, when the team clock off at 5, then that's when you think, oh, I've got to do my invoicing, I've got to do my accounts, I've got no social media post planned for this month. It's long hours, and it never goes away, never goes away. But it feels different. It certainly feels different to me.
I would agree wholeheartedly. It feels different, but also it's interesting people's perceptions, isn't it? Because I think there's a lot of people have rose tinted glasses on when they're thinking about the aspirations to have a business or to grow a business, and then exactly that. It's like, oh, I can do what I want when I want. It's like, yeah, you can, but also the responsibilities, the workload, the pressure, it's all there,
Yeah,
arguably heightened. Sure, it feels different, but it's all still there, isn't it? It's not like kicking back and, just going with the flow and doing things on a whim. Sometimes maybe it is, but it's the tenacity and the determination and the work ethic and the drive that allows for those moments, right?
absolutely.
Okay. So you said there was two.
Yeah, I think the complete flip side of that is being human
Mm.
and having the skill. I think empathy is the biggest skill out there to have because people buy from people. Maybe we could accept, Amazon, we're not buying from people, it's all convenience and it's wonderful. But generally speaking, for most of us in the small business community, people buy from people. And having the ability to understand somebody else's situation, point of view, the emotional baggage they're bringing with them on that day, their ethics, their reasons, all of that, being able to empathize with your team and your customers and your suppliers and your scaffolding, that business network. I think it's huge, absolutely huge. And it's something I feel I've really grown in since setting Ena up.
Oh, okay. I love that you've mentioned that because I think being human is the antidote to being a perfectionist. Is my
Yeah,
personal take. As a recovering perfectionist and control freak, I feel I can share that comfortably. But empathy, empathy in entrepreneurship, I think this is something close to my heart, Kate, because I think it's the greatest gift, because if you cannot understand human behavior, then business is going to be a lot harder. Every single relationship is going to be harder if you haven't got that empathy is the word, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because you're going to meet so many people. They are not all going to be your crew. They are not all going to have come from the same life experiences and backgrounds that you have. And being able to open your mind and get to understand people and truly be able to show empathy is huge. And also know when you can't, know when you can hold that space and say, I have no lived experience of this. I cannot empathise with you at all. That's okay too. But yeah, having empathy so that you can build those incredible relationships is so important.
So important. And that point you make there about knowing when you can't as well, I think, that's a courageous act to say, hey, I can't empathize, but I'm curious, I'm here, I'm going to listen. I
Yes.
think listening is, I know I asked you for what you thought, but my listening would be the one that I would throw in as maybe a side side trait here, because I think listening and empathy, to me, there's a close link there. Um, and actually, this is something I'm passionate about, that we don't very often listen in a really deep, meaningful way. I know I'm guilty of this. I'm not perfect, but actually, truly, deeply listening to someone is such a gift.
It's a human trait, but unfortunately, it's a toxic human trait, isn't it? That we listen to respond. We don't
Mm,
always listen to understand. And I loved you used a beautiful word there that I really champion is be curious.
mm,
Don't be judgmental.
yeah,
Be curious, because the more curious we are as human beings and business owners, the more we're going to succeed.
100%. And I that is one of the things that my one of my small humans has taught me, that kind of his curiosity blows my mind. And actually, that's another entrepreneurial trait, isn't it? That curiosity to
Yes.
listen, to understand, to learn. All of those things are, for me, fueled by that curiosity, aren't they? And the letting go of judgment is so important, isn't it? But not always easy to get right.
We do judge. We are humans and we judge and we have our unconscious bias. That is who we are. But we then have to have the self awareness to know we're being judgmental, to correct ourselves, and to be more curious.
Hmm. Simple.
Easy, no problem.
Simple when you've got the scaffolding.
Absolutely. And that's what you need.
Oh, Kate, thank you so much. We're coming towards the end of this conversation for today, which always makes me sad, because I think I could speak to you forever if you let me. But if we're thinking about purpose and your scaffolding and some of the things that we've touched on with those entrepreneurial traits, what do you think your wish or intention for anyone listening who's been with us on this journey today? What's your wish for them?
To find the courage to go on their journey,
Mm.
because I genuinely feel if I can do it, anyone can do it. I am not special. I don't have superhuman powers. I have got so much wrong. I've had to ask for help so many times. But in my gut, it has always felt right. I sit in the space and I've never regretted anything that's happened or continues to happen. The journey is incredible. Caroline and Amy, who work with me, are just utter superstars. I have created a life for myself that I love living. It's not about just working to the weekend. I love living my life. That is the biggest win in the world. So if listening to my journey gives somebody the courage to be more self-aware, to go out and get more scaffolding, to join a business network, to find a coach, whatever it is, it gives somebody the courage to take that step forward so they can live their best life and go on their journey, then that would make me very, very happy.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly, Kate, and thank you for showing up here today for us, with us, being so free and open and raw with your quest to build the life that you love and you're proud of. So I'm deeply grateful, Kate. Thank you. And there will be some links in for anyone who wishes to connect with Kate. And as another episode draws to a close, I would just like to express my heartfelt thanks to you, because our time, focus, and energy are all so precious. And you've spent a little snippet of time with us today as we explored another purposeful entrepreneurial adventure. And I'm grateful to you. So thank you for being here. Let us know what's resonated with you, and I'll speak to you soon.